How's it hanging, y'all? Captain, you do not want a, and I quote, goth dummy mommy. You are an insecure, far right, porn addicted, algorithm fed, insecure teenage boy. You have nothing to offer to these women here. And I want to just talk about my feelings on the Backrooms movie, considering I just watched it. Um, Now, I know people are like weirdly disliking the movie. I don't really see why. It's a good movie. Like that's I mean, just to go ahead and like get my thoughts out there. It's a good movie, right? If I had to give it, it's probably like a good 7 or 8 out of 10, right? I think it's, a little cliche and sometimes you can guess like what's gonna happen, but it builds tension to what's gonna happen, right? um and it does that, well. I'm not gonna say it's like the best or anything, right? But it's good. It's a good movie, you know what I mean? And I like the story of how the monsters are gonna be there. Oh, before I get into the meat and potatoes here, of course, spoilers for the movie if you haven't seen it. So the story starts out that there's this guy, Clark, right? He runs, the pirate shop and or this like Ottoman Empire, right? Which is basically the in-universe Ollies, you know what I mean? It's this discount store, and yeah, he runs it. He just got a divorce with his wife. I think that's what they were trying to say. And he's just trying to. A man's just trying to make a living. You know what I'm saying? Man's just trying to make a living. Boy trying to get some motion. And he has these two employees, right, that work with him, and one has a camera. They're both, I think like I don't know. They're like 20-year-old something, but yeah. And he's trying to run this. All of a sudden, he finds this wall that he can go through, and yeah, and it enters him into the back rooms, right? And I like that, right? I like that inclusion instead of just like, I don't know the entire lore of like the internet, how it got to be, how it came to be. I just assumed it was like, how you like lose something, right? Like, I don't know, like a penny or like a coin in general, and all of a sudden it just mysteriously disappears. I just assumed it was kind of like that. Um, yeah, and every now and then there's monsters inside. I don't read up on the lore, but I just generally know about it. Yeah, but I like that's how it came to be. I would wish a little bit that there was like some kind of like, okay, you can't just go in and out whenever you feel like it. You know what I mean? Because then, I mean, why not just tell the world about it? Like obviously, like later on in the movie, like Clark gets like stuck and they get stuck in the back rooms and X, Y, and Z. But I don't know if he's able to like go in and then go out. He tries to tell his therapist later on that it's like a real place, and he has this like map, and like she like half believes him because I mean, reasonably so. And then he tries to get proof and then come back with a video camera. Why not just tell the world about it? You know what I mean? Like, because at that point, this is like something supernatural. This is something never seen before. I personally wouldn't just keep it in my inner circle. I would maybe like, I don't know, try to like, hey, this is happening. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I'm not in his shoes, and I'm not gonna think about it too hard. But yeah, so he tries to get proof, and he wakes up his coworkers at like midday or something on their off day, and they're they're doing some activities. And he gets their camera for proof that it's real. One thing I didn't like about the movie, because I understand why they did it, because there has to be like a reason why they stay, why they get trapped, you know, why they can't find their way back, X, Y, and Z. But I just don't get why he wanted to explore further, you know? Why not just get the camera, show that you could go through the wall, which is what they do. Okay, maybe look around, you know, where you know everything is safe, and then there's no chance that anybody's gonna die, like, right? And then go back. Hey, therapist, this is the proof. Look. You know what I mean? So, but that's always, you know, horror movie logic is, oh, we're gonna do something dumb. Ah, the monster's got us! Ah! Like, right. Yeah, but later on, the couple of the two get stuck in the back rooms, and the guy gets eaten, gets taken away, and that's the last that we see of him. He was pretty funny. I liked him, because of course I did. And the girl, you know, goes after him, tries to find him. I think that's the last that we see of them, really. And then Clark, he gets stuck down there. What I did like is I liked how, I don't know if it happened like the 75% mark of the movie, but the main character switches from Clark to his therapist. And I like that, right? That's something that's interesting, because, you know, normally, like, with a generic movie, you know, I guess something like, I don't know, the Super Mario movie, or, you know, what else? What's a general thing? I don't know, even things like Iron Lung, not to diss on Iron Lung, but like things just like Iron Lung, I guess. I'm really trying to think of other movies, but you get what I'm saying here. Normally it follows just the main protagonist, right? It follows this one guy and his experience going around, but it switches the main characters onto a new person that we somewhat kind of know, but don't really know. And then the therapist goes into the Ottoman Empire and, you know, tries to find out this secret back room or whatever. And she gets in there and, like, you know, she finds Clark, what is this? And he, you know, headlocks her, chokes her out, you know, real, it's like, yeah, it's like this, because back of the head, man. Yeah, you know, chokes her out and whatnot. She passes out, he ties her down, freaky deaky. And he explains, you know, the back rooms and what he's learned, you know. It's all about people who kind of like distant memories that it's every place that ever, you know, was, right? And that's a cool idea, right? Because you're not gonna I mean, it's very, like, it's relatable, you know what I mean? Like, because I can imagine Walmart, right? I can imagine yeah, just something like Walmart or even Target, right? I can imagine, like, generally what it looks like, right? You got like the tiles, you got the ceiling, you got the you know, shelves, you got the aisles, you got the clothes, right? But, you know, not everything's gonna be perfect, right? I mean, literally, just like it said, let's like explain some like a dog to someone who's never seen a dog before, and then asking them to draw it. It's basically that. I really like that. That is a cool idea. And I understand, you know, this isn't like some original, you know, show or movie, right? Like this is something that came from the internet. They had a cool idea. And I also really like that they did a found footage style, because it works super well. It works super well. And I really it's become one of my favorite genres now, like a genre that I enjoy now. Found footage. I've already liked things like Blair Witch, like the idea of Blair Witch. I've heard the movies aren't good, you know, maybe I'm a LARPer, but I've just never seen them personally. I really need to, but I've been putting it off. But yeah, she goes in, finds the back room, passes out, gets tied down. He explains, and it's these people that like kind of have an uncanny look. I'm really glad, let me go ahead and say, that they didn't do that bitch ass like troll face, like big, lanky Slenderman looking thing. I'm really glad they didn't do that and they came up with their own idea, because that like big, troll face monster or whatever, really lame. You know what I mean? Like I get it's for like analog or like YouTube horror or whatever, but I've just never found it that intimidating. Like it is some like if I saw it in like the corner of my room or something, of course, like I'd be very I'd be frightened, I'd be shocked, I'd be scared. But I don't know. It's just you see it so many times, it's just lame. So I'm really glad they had their own characters and their own idea. Um, 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 uh, yeah, and eventually, Clark. I know there's a whole reason why Clark's monster comes in and bites him, because something changed. It was like, I think that's what it was, because like because he changed, realizing that it maybe, or was it because he didn't it was one or the other. It was some like change reason, because they talked with his therapist, and the therapist told him that basically he doesn't need to change. And then the Clark's monster comes in, and Clark, which once again is the store owner, says like, we don't need to change, and I guess Clark's monster didn't like that, so he took a bite out of him, like some apple pie. And then the therapist runs away, goes back to the Ottoman Empire, but it's not the Ottoman Empire, it's still in the back rooms. Right? And eventually she finds these scientists. At this point, I gotta be so real, I don't want to say clocked out, but like I was like half watching, because we watched it in a theater, and there were these like just general theater experience, like it's always one group that kind of just ruins it. But yeah, but thankfully it was near the end of the movie, so yeah. But she finds these scientists, and the whole time, they're talking back and forth about what like she found or something. I once again kind of was like half watching. And then because she is a part of the world, she gets remembered in the back rooms. End of movie. Roll credits. So yeah, I mean, I like the whole idea of it. I like that they didn't just copy and paste one idea and make it into a movie, right? And another thing is just in the grander scheme of things, because someone pointed this out to me, and yeah, I share this opinion. I like that a lot of indie movies are getting a lot more recognition than a lot of corporate movies. I wouldn't say I'm a very big corporate guy personally. I think if you reach a certain level of money, just something snaps, something changes. You know what I mean? I don't know, the symbiote takes over. Greed just consumes you. Something, man. You know what I mean? Like 9 times out of 10. But yeah, I'm very glad that indie movies are, and I say indie like it wasn't, released by Blumhouse, but yeah, I mean, top three movies this week were the main ones are Backrooms, and Obsession, which I'm gonna watch Obsession eventually, and I'll give my thoughts on that. Something else. It was Digital Circus. And also, that's a whole nother video that I'll give my opinion on Digital Circus once I watch the movie, and then I'll give like a whole general, thought video of what I think of Tad C, um, like the whole series in general. But yeah, I'm really glad that these indie movies are hitting big, making buck, making bank. Because yeah, it shows people that you can, if you have an idea and you make it good, you can make it, right? As if it's something, interesting, maybe something new, something that, maybe hasn't been seen before, maybe hasn't been done, right? You can make it, right? Because I think, quite frankly, we're all like, I'm not speaking for like the whole human race or anything, but I think the majority of people are just kind of tired of these like just the same old movie, you know what I mean? It's kind of like the Call of Duty effect where Call of Duty popped off and then everybody tried to hop on the FPS bandwagon. And that's kind of happened with movies where it's just the same like superhero thing, and quite frankly, at least me, I'm just tired of it, I'm just tired of these superhero movies that really don't need to be movies. It's just nothing new. Or remakes, live actions. That's something that Disney has really been, big on recently. I say recently like it wasn't 6 years ago, but yeah, just never, I don't think I've seen a single remake. I'm not gonna lie, or live action. It just don't care. Like, not everything needs a reboot, you know what I mean? Not everything needs to keep on going for as long as it possibly can, right? Like, until the cow runneth dry of milk. But yeah, just quite frankly tired of it. So yeah, but Backrooms movie, super glad it got it made bank, did super good. Yeah, and let me go ahead and say before I end this video, I think the Supergirl movie is going to flop. I really do. From all the trailers that I've seen, I think it is going to flop. It is already made by DC, so they're real hit or miss. I think it's just gonna be once again another corporate slop of a movie where they have these really lame quips and one-liners. I don't think anything important is going to happen. I heard they shoot crypto in one of the first scenes, which is crazy. I don't know how, I'm not up to date with crypto lore or anything like the dog. I'm not up to date with his, backstory, but if it's anything like Superman, unless they had a kryptonite bullet, don't know how you could do it. But yeah, super glad that Backrooms made bank. Super glad that it did good. Yeah, once again, still sitting at like I think I'm gonna go with a definitive 8. I like the movie, real good. Maybe a 9, light 9. But yeah, good movie. I recommend, people to watch it. Definitely in theaters. In theaters versus like watching it on like, at your home or something. I would say is definitely, a better experience if, excluding, others and, just being generally socially inept. But yeah, good movie. Super glad that I watched it. Yeah. So I'll see you next one. Bye bye.